Hello and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. Last time, the group had a strange idea of attempt to befriend Yumiko's Takagi. The winner was the one who could get the closest to Yumiko. However, as expected, this game did not end well for the participants, though Yuuji likely went free of the most trouble. Let's continue. Our daily habits become part of who we are. That goes for everything from the natural routines like washing your face or brushing your teeth to the obsessive rituals like always moving your left leg first when you walk. I know I don't run every single day for some conscious reason. The habit's just ingrained into my personality by this point. Doesn't matter how tired I am, doesn't matter if it's pouring rain, doesn't matter if the wind's blowing me all over the road. Even if I get a little sick, I'm out there running like it's a cure for the common cold. 16 kilometers every morning like clockwork. In 1 month, that's 496. In a year, 5,840. When you work it out, I'm running the distance to Singapore annually, with change to spare. A pretty respectable distance if I do say so myself. Not that I'm particularly aiming to go see the Merlion or try out the famous chicken rice. My itinerary is strictly local. Every day I make my way around the outer walls of the school, past the shuttered stores of the shopping district, and by a few poor maintained Shinto shrines. Every day I take in the same coastal scenery. It might sound repetitive, but I don't feel any need to change my standard course. Running a familiar road at a familiar pace makes for better training. That said, my route isn't completely set in stone. For example, if I happen to notice an acquaintance nearby, I'll sometimes head in their direction. Not that I chase people around town, of course, I just catch up and offer a brief greeting. It just seems like the polite thing to do, especially when they're a school friend of mine. You'll also notice, hopefully, the slight cropping of the text that was in the last episode have been fixed, as I am now recording in full screen, I hope. This morning, as I'm following my standard marathon route around me at the Academy's campus, I catch a sight of Matsushima Michiru. I plan to do 3 quick laps around the school before heading toward the station, but Michiru's appearance gives me a pause. Even from a distance, her body language is clearly unusual. From the way she's trudging along the road with her shoulders slumped, you'd think the force of gravity is operating at double strength in her immediate vicinity. Something seems distinctively off with the girl. Then again, it's still very early in the morning and I don't want to disturb her privacy. Probably better not to call out to her. As I make my way through the shopping district, I try to think of reasons why Michiru would leave the school at such an early hour. She's a little young to be heading to a public park for radio calinistics, so what's her objective? When I happen to spot the girl for the second time in this one training session, my curiosity proves harder to suppress. This time I'm running along the coast when I notice her blonde hair dead ahead. She's walking slowly up the same road, her head slightly bowed. This is a nice cove, gotta say. At this rate, I'll catch her up very soon. When I overtake her, I can just say a quick hello. But Michiru abruptly turns off my route. Before I have the chance to say anything, she's vanished down the south path. Having completed my standard 16 kilometers, I return to the dorm as usual. Usually I'd take a quick shower next, but the uncharacteristic melancholy I could see in Michiru even from a distance seemed to have left an oddly strong impression on me. It's weighing on my mind. We're classmates, I suppose. Can't hurt to stick my nose in every once in a while. Mumbling something of an excuse to myself, I wipe the sweat from my neck with a towel, then head back outside the school grounds. I have to say though, I don't understand people who dream about living in a house by the sea. The ocean breeze makes everything rust, the moisture makes it hard to dry your laundry. If a seaside town sounds romantic, you've probably never lived in one. Sure, you can come to love your home wherever it may be, but let me assure you there's nothing idyllic about drunken teenagers partying on the beach for a month at a time, especially given their tendency to launch fireworks at midnight. Let's see, I'm pretty sure she was headed this way. I find Michiru seated on a high ridge overlooking the sea, aimlessly gazing into the distance. I approach slowly, but she appears oblivious to my presence. I'm consciously taking loud, conspicuous steps to no apparent effect. The girl's carelessness exceeds my expectations. She's crumpled into herself like a load of laundry long forgotten in the hamper. More than anything else, she looks worn out, exhausted even, almost like a completely different person. I can hear the sound of the waves in the distance. The sunlight is gentle this morning, the weather fair and pleasant. The location isn't bad either, but if this is an early morning picnic, she's forgotten to bring food. Michiru? The fastest way to figure out what she's doing here is probably just to ask her, but she doesn't respond to my voice. What's wrong? Waiting to get picked up by a garbage truck? In that case, you got to label yourself as an oversized waste. I can't pick up bottle-blonds if you just dump one on the curb, I'm afraid. Normally a remark like this would be met by an indignant cryptic shriek of "Mookie!" as soon as it's left my mouth, but today I get nothing. Just what is going on with this girl? I rapidly review and analyze Michiru's recent behavior. Okay, just what do we have here? It doesn't take long for me to reach an extremely plausible hypothesis. All the pieces fall into place. I see, so that's going on. Why didn't I realize sooner? Careless, very careless. Damn. I finally gotten a grasp of the situation, specifically the nature of Matsushima Michiru's bodily distress. Michiru, has your dysentery taken a turn for the worse? You should have told me. Why suffer in silence? Okay, first order of business, I need a look at your stool to confirm the progression of the disease. Hurry up, out with it. Huh? Hey, what? When I grab Michiru's shoulders with both hands and begin shaking her vigorously, there's finally a response. I was half convinced she fainted sitting up, but things don't seem to be quite that serious. Huh? Why are you here, Yuuji? Good question. Why am I here? What do you think? I have no idea. That's why I asked you. Michiru may have recognized my presence, but her normal bristly attitude is notable by its absence. And not just as her armor has fallen off, it feels as though she isn't aware of her own state of vulnerability. Why am I here? That would be because I came here. Therefore, I am here. Understood? Well, I know that, but that's not what I meant. Either way, that's of little importance at the moment. Produce a stool sample at once. How? What are you talking about? Cut the back talk, maggot. You're the one who ate contaminated food. Here I am kindly offering to examine your stool as a favor to my classmate. And this is your attitude? Evacuate your bowels at once. Okay, look, how many times do I have to say this before you get the message? I didn't eat any contaminated stuff. I don't scavenge for food, okay? What's that supposed to mean? Are you implying my mental picture of you is fundamentally flawed? I think I might regret asking, but what sort of mental picture do you have of me, Yuuji? I picture you in the mountains, discovering colorful toadstools. You try to shriek, "Oh my god, what is this? It's like so cute!" But before the "so" is out of your mouth, you've stuffed it full of mushrooms. You're dead seconds later. Come on, there's no way I'd do something like that. What, do I really have that sort of image? Tell me, what kind of image do you think your acquaintances have of you? Well, tsundere Michiru-chan, always cheerfully running around and chasing the bluebird of happiness. Just don't get the wrong idea, it's not like I really want to find a bluebird or anything. You know, something like that. If you don't want to find one, why are you chasing it in the first place? It's just a figure of speech. That's just one small part of the true Michiru anyway, understand? You don't have to pick at everything I say, you know. Sadly I find your explanation incoherent. And that image of you lying dead in the forest with mushrooms spilling out of your mouth doesn't seem to be going anywhere. My apologies. Shut up already. Anyway, I'm the same happy, energetic person as always. Suddenly my impression of Michiru up to today has been pretty similar to her description. A constantly cheerful idiot girl. But today she's got none of her usual vigor, and her tsundere act has all but disappeared. When women act differently from normal, and the most likely cause is that time of the month. But we're dealing with a girl going through a difficult age. I must put these questions delicately, or it'll be awkward to answer. I lower my voice and beckon Michiru to closer with my hand. Michiru? Huh? What is it this time? Michiru draws her face near. I put the matter to her in the most gentlemanly way I know how. Are you menstruating? That's not it! Why would you whisper that into my ear? What's wrong with you? I thought it would be better than shouting, but it seems our opinions differ. That's not the point. You shouldn't say that sort of thing at all. I'm simply trying to understand the situation. Is it iron deficiency then? That won't just give you anemia, you know. Makes it easier to catch colds as well. There's no reason to stuff yourself with vitamin C like an idiot if you forget to eat anything else. You need balance, understand? Balance. Will you stop jumping to conclusion? Sheesh, I'm not sick or anything. So it's not anemia, not menstruation, and not a nutritional deficiency. I'm out of ideas. What's actually going on here? Well, it's fine. You can give it to me straight. I've been in the field a long time, you know. You're probably not going to shock me. Well, okay, you see. Yes, go on. What is it? I was looking at the sea. Looking at... say what? I was looking at the sea, alright? The sea? Michiru gave a quick, embarrassed nod, her eyes downcast. Looking at the sea. I ruminate carefully on those words, just what hidden meaning lurks inside this brief, cryptic cipher of a sentence. I know of a certain Japanese organization that refers to its maneuvering grounds as the mountains. Alright, so what would the sea indicate? Nothing comes to mind. Sorry, Michiru, when you say the sea, what exactly are you referring to? Huh? The sea is just a sea, right? The sea is the sea, which would make looking the keyword, eh? I'd assume you were indicating some sort of special surveillance mission. Was I missing some crucial context? What? Look, I was just looking at the ocean. Plain and simple. No mission was involved. Excuse me? You were literally just looking at the ocean? Yeah. Explain yourself. I'm baffled. You were staring at a giant saltwater puddle for no reason whatsoever. Yes, I was. Is there a problem with that? Of course there is. The first and biggest problem is that you don't see anything wrong with it. Listen carefully. Time is not an infinite resource. You only get so much. Our lives are briefs. How to make use of the precious time we're given is an absolute essential problem. It's one thing if you're never given the opportunity to make your own choices. Some people spend their lives following orders from others. If that's the only path open to you, then you just have to deal with it as best you can. But you, my friend, have the good fortune to be free, and you are choosing to use your time staring at the sea for no reason at all? I find that extremely hard to understand. As your classmate, I requested you produce an acceptable reason for looking at the ocean. Understood? You're kind of thinking too hard about this. I love thoughtful Michiru. Just as well as... well, I just love this game, plain and simple. I was just looking at the ocean and thinking about how pretty it is, or whatever. What's wrong with that? Do I really need some special reason? Can I conceive of this as a rest and relaxation period then? I don't think I can accept it unless there's some sort of concrete meaning to your actions. Alright, fine, let's go with that. I was looking at the sea to relax. I see. Have to say, you didn't seem to be enjoying it much. That's not true. Michiru squints her eyes against the sea breeze. Her expression belies her words. This explanation seems dubious at best, but then again I suppose it was foolish of me to expect any coherent logical basis from this woman's behavior. The wind feels nice. We stand below the vivid clear summer sky, utterly wasting our time. If things are going to continue along these lines, it would be more productive to return to the dorm now and just read for a while. Michiru, my friend, have you considered the possibility that this abnormal desire to view the ocean is the product of some bacterial infection in your brain? No, I haven't, and I'm not going to. Then perhaps there's a kappa in your family tree. No, wait, they live in rivers. Damn. What's this? Let me see your head for a second. Huh? What? What now? Shut your mouth and present me your cranium. Don't give any trouble. Huh? But... wait, what? Is there... Don't tell me there's a kappa plate on my head. I pull Michiru's head toward me and quickly pluck out a single hair. Among her mass of thoroughly bleached blonde locks, there was a single pure black strand. Ow! Did it break? Did you break my plate? What? Did the kappa ancestor ring any bells? Not to worry though, nothing's broken. I just pulled out a black hair for you. Kind of stands out when it's surrounded by a sea of blonde. No matter how much effort you put in it, you're probably going to miss a few hairs like this unless you have someone else to take a look for you. Huh? Oh, I see. Thanks. You got some cucumber bits around your mouth, by the way. Cut it out with the kappa gags already. Just look at the sea for a while, Yuuji. I'll pass. Why bother looking at it? It's the same as it was yesterday. I think the ocean will get along just fine, even if I don't sit around staring at it. Oh, will you just look already? Come on. I give in to her pestering and stare out at the ocean. As expected, there has been no dramatic development since the last time I saw it. I mean, the ocean is just so huge, you know? The sea may be the same as always, but Michiru is clearly different today. The tone of her voice is strange. True enough. 70% of the Earth is covered in oceans. Huge is a relative concept, but I think this would qualify by the more typical standard of comparison. I thought you'd say something like that. So silly. Michiru laughs, inexplicably amused by my simple statement, in fact. But in the next moment, that unusually serious expression is back on her face. You know, I've been thinking. Compared to this ocean, people are really just tiny, insignificant specks, aren't they? When I look at this huge ocean, my worries just seem so tiny. I feel like it's all just a joke. Michiru brazenly fires off a set of lines you can normally only hear the likes of in the corniest of decades-old made-for-TV teenage drama fests. If she's not intentionally quoting something, this is about as hackneyed and clinched as it gets. Though it still cuts them off, I don't know why, but, well, I have no problem with this or the other. Hehe, that was pretty deep just now, wasn't it? What's more, she's not remotely sheepish about her trite words. Fascinating. Maybe I'll take a look inside her head and see how the machinery works. She's clearly got a few screws loose already, so it should pop open easily enough. Yeah, maybe it was. But in the end, I decide to affirm her statement. It's a fact that humans are only one part of the greater whole of nature. It might be cliched to reflect on the transitory nature of our existence, but that doesn't make it any less valid a thought. Right? I know, right? I said something deep. My worries. That doesn't mean you need to repeat it. Once was plenty. Jeez, get off my back. I can repeat myself if I want to. My worries are tiny and insignificant. Michiru's clearly gotten carried away. It might have been a mistake to give her ego a boost like that. In the end, she's nothing more than an idiot. Can't have her getting too satisfied with herself. Too exasperated even to sigh, I send Michiru an expressive glare. Not that I am confident she'll be able to see the cold pity in my eyes. Hey, what are you looking at? What is it now? Nothing at all. If it's nothing at all, why are you staring at... Oh, it looks like the girl's had a sudden flash of insight. Perhaps she has finally become aware of her own foolishness. Don't misunderstand, I didn't mean it that way, okay? My tiny worries have nothing to do with that. Stupid. As Michiru babbles on, she moves her arms to hide her tiny chest from view. Look, Maggot, I have no interest in your pitiful excuse for Qa'Rajh. What the heck? You were just staring at it. With this dirty look in your eyes and I don't have tiny breasts, okay? I have a nice body, so there. A nice body is a term we might use to describe, say, a man. By reasonable standard, your breasts are tragically underdeveloped. My condolences. Hey, shut up! My breasts aren't tragic. They aren't tragic at all. I mean, Magan is way worse, right? That girl's in a whole different category. Are you really happy about beating a complete outlier? Not happy in the... Okay, maybe a little happy. The corners of Michiru's mouth rise ever so slightly, probably recalling Magna's washboard of her chest and mentally comparing it to her own. What a petty human being. Have you no pride, woman? You might as well gloat about handling your chopsticks better than some tourist from France. Shut up already. I have big breasts. Big, I tell you. Admit it. I demand that you say that they're big. They're big. Too vague. I demand that you say Michiru-sama's breasts are very large. Michiru-sama's breasts are very large indeed. Somehow I'm even more pissed off. Apparently my complete lack of sincerity got across to you. But anyway, sounds like you've cheered up a little.
I've been cheerful all along. I'm the same person I always am. Got it? Well... Ah!
The black cat from the other day appears from somewhere or other. Purring loudly, it sidles up to Michiru and aggressively rubs up against her leg. I see, so you were searching for a black cat rather than a blue bird.
It's not like I came here because of the cat, okay? It's a total random chance. It's not like I've ever seen this cat before. To think there'd be a cat in this place like this. Crazy coincidence. What are the odds?
What was this cat's name again? Something like...
Who says it has a name? Not that I care. No idea myself.
That's right, it's Rommel.
It's Kitty Meow. Don't give him some weird name, you jerk.
Just as I thought. It's the same animal that was at school before, isn't it? Didn't know it was your pet.
You got the wrong idea. I don't know this cat, so there.
What? Rommel isn't an acquaintance of yours?
How many times do I have to tell you? It's Kitty Me... Never seen it before in my life.
You dropped something. Allow me.
No, it's fine. You don't have to pick that up.
A carton of milk, eh? That's a bit unexpected.
Didn't I ever mention that I'm a complete milk fanatic? Sure, I guess I've never drunk it around you guys pretty much ever. But I love it. I'm constantly guzzling it down. Just happen to never have given the slightest indication of that in public for even a second.
I see. That's good to hear. If by any chance you'd been giving milk to the cat, I would have to have stopped you.
Why?
No worries. Since you're the one drinking it, there's no problem. Enjoy.
Yeah, this is for me. No problem. But why? Come on, tell me already.
Alright, let me break it down for you. Giving a cat milk can upset its stomach badly. If you're that desperate to give it some, you need to dilute the milk with water first.
It's not like I'm desperate to give him milk or anything.
As soon as the words are out of her mouth, Michiru's glancing restlessly around the area. What's wrong? Looking for a source of water by any chance?
That's not it. I wasn't looking for anything. It's nothing, jerk.
The black cat wraps itself around Michiru's leg like a fuzzy boa constrictor. Then it starts to rub the corner of his jaw roughly against her ankle. Looks like it's trying to mark her with its scent. Seems like you've pretty much tamed the animal. One could almost get mistaken the impression that he's begging for the milk you always give him.
You got it all wrong, very wrong. Kidding me. This cat that I don't know from a hole in the wall, which is to say whole cat, isn't attached to me in the least.
You sure about that? Rommel seems awfully...
It's Kitty Meow. No, it's a hole in the wall. Yes, he's a hole. This cat is a hole.
No, it isn't. It's clearly a cat.
I know that, jerk.
Apparently giving up on its request for milk, the feline in question sinks to the ground at Michiru's feet and rolls itself up into a ball. Within seconds, it closes its eyes and falls fast asleep. You must have been feeding this thing for quite a while if it avoided to trust you this much.
Shut up, alright? It's not like I come here all the time to feed it or anything. This whole cat just showed up completely out of the blue. In other words, he's holy blue, or as the Italians say, sacre bleu.
Could you please try to calm down a bit? You have a bad habit of firing off unintelligible gibberish when you get worked up.
Alright, I suppose I'll pet this hole in the wall until I feel calmer.
Michiru reaches down and scratches the neck of the defenseless cat with the tip of her fingers. The animal moves its head in time with her strokes in evident pleasure, then begins to lick at the pink pads on its paws. The cat seems so completely and blissfully relaxed that I half expected to melt into a contented puddle. Just watching it, I can feel some of the stiffness in my shoulders begin to lighten. It's not good to carelessly let your guard down, but keeping up a state of constant tension is an even worse idea. After a brief glance around the area, I decide to take a moment of rest. Alright, think I'll join him down there for a while.
Huh?
I drop myself to the ground next to Michiru. Flustered, she grabs her skirt and holds it close, preventing any potential visual access to the interior. Don't be an idiot. I don't have any ulterior motive. You worry about the stupidest things.
Even if that's true, I don't want you seeing anything, okay?
Like what? A bit of cloth? Nothing worth worrying about. Michiru is apparently worried about disturbing the cat now slumbering at her feet, as she is avoiding any large movements. Either way, I truly don't have any secret plans involving her underwear. I just wanted to sprawl out in the grass and think about nothing at all for a while. Whatever, just don't look over here too much, alright? It's been a long time since I've laid myself down on the ground and gazed blankly up into the sky like this. Every once in a while I do spend some time gazing at the clouds, but I tend to be thinking things over while I do so. But as Michiru says, just looking for no particular reason isn't bad in its own way. The vault of blue above me hasn't changed. It looks just as it did when I was a child. I thought the clouds might seem a little closer by now, but naturally they're the same as they've always been. My perspective may be a meter or so higher when I stand, but that's completely insignificant on this scale. I can stretch my hand up all I want, but it'll never reach the clouds. We're all but changed to the dirt beneath our feet. I see. Not a bad view. Michiru begins to speak, her tone somewhat troubled. I'm kinda scared of the sky, especially when it's dark. When I look up at the moon at night, it doesn't look like the moon anymore. It looks like a gash. It's like the sky is a giant lid covering us, and the moon is an air hole someone punched in it. Like I'm trapped inside a box or something. It makes me feel like I'm suffocating sometimes. I've heard of people who get disturbed by the way the moon always seems to follow you around, but the world as a giant box angle is new to me. Can't help it, that's what it seems like to me. So I just don't look at the sky at night. It's kind of scary and it makes me feel lonely. It makes me feel like I'm not myself anymore. I think I understand. You don't look at the night sky in order to prevent yourself from transforming into a wolf, right? I imagine that would be troublesome. That would actually be easier to deal with. Simpler. A wolf, vampire, whatever. That way somebody could just shoot me with a silver bullet aimed right at my... Meow. I'm sorry, kitty. Are you hungry, perhaps? Or still sleepy? Well, this weather really does make you want to take a siesta. That said, I haven't even eaten breakfast yet, so the time is a bit off. Hey, Yuuji, I'm going to ask you something strange, okay? Just for the heck of it. Don't think I'm weird or anything. No worries on that front. I have had you down as exceptionally weird for a long time now. What happens to people when they die? What? Wait, don't get up, just keep lying down. This is just a stupid little chat, okay? If possible, I'd like to talk about this while observing her face, but if Michiru-sama desires otherwise, I can do naught but obey. I ease myself back onto the grass and listen to her voice. For example, Dracula. He gets hit by the light of the sun, turns into ash and blows away at the end. So, what about normal people? What happens to them when they die? Are we talking about religious ideology here? You want to hear something about a final moral judgment? Nothing like that. I just want a normal answer. What happens when you die? Plain and simple. Let's see. I haven't died yet, so I can't speak with much authority, but probably nothing. What's nothing like? Oblivion or whatever? If you're imagining floating naked in a pure white space, I think you're slightly off. The way I picture it, it's just like going to sleep and then never waking up again. You fall asleep and just stay that way forever? Everyone else will probably be running around worrying about the funeral, but what do you care? Of course, people die in many different ways, but in the end we're all taking a never-ending nap. I see. Is that all? Sounds pretty peaceful really. Depends on how you look at it. Anyway, heaven and hell are just remnants of an archaic moral system. Nobody really takes that stuff seriously anymore. Don't see many people going around walking on water, or making magical wine out of it. Of course, it seems God does appear before the chosen few every once in a while, most often to tell them they need to start up a political campaign. Hey, Michiru begins to ask something, but stops before the words leave her mouth. After a moment of silence, she starts to speak again. I can't tell whether it's the continuation of a dangling sentence or a completely new topic. If I die, I'd want to be buried here. Getting a bit ahead of yourself there. Or do you plan to die anytime soon? No, of course not, but, it's just a what-if thing. I mean, this place has such a beautiful view, right? It feels like you can see across the world from here. I'd be happy if I could sleep forever in a place like this. To be honest, I'm a little displeased to hear a perfectly healthy person scouting out locations for the tomb. Come on, don't be such a stick in the mud. Alright, I'll bestow this important duty on you. Duty, make my grave here. You want me to dig a hole and bury you in it? Look, You can't just go making a grave wherever you please, do you understand that?
It's fine, you can deal with the details later, just do as I say. Meow!
The cat's eyes shoot open at the sound of Michiru's shout. Startled, it bounds away like a spring, vanishing in the blink of an eye. I slowly raise my upper body off the ground, brushing off the grass clinging to my clothes.
Jeez, you got no sense of romaine, you know that? No romaine in your heart.
Why are we talking about lettuce?
Nobody said anything about vegetables. You just messing with me again. It's your fault that Kitty Meow ran away.
Now I feel all hungry too.
Why did you have to mention lettuce? Forget this, I'm going to eat my breakfast. You there, I'll permit you to dine with me.
Michiru expressions have turned to the norm. It's as though the conversation just now never happened. Well, if you're hungry, I guess I can split my beans with you.
Beans? What? Your diet is totally miserable, as usual.
Says the girl who's always filling up on convenience store boxed lunches packed full of preservatives.
Shut up already! Alright, we're going to have a race back to the school. Loser buys drinks already. Ready, set, go!
A little conversation about death took me by surprise, honestly. Not what you'd expect from a random chat with your classmate, but life is always shadowed by death. The only question is whether you're aware of its presence at your side. Sometimes a man who looked perfectly healthy in the morning goes to sleep and never opens his eyes again. Death can come at any time, and once it does, it's too late to regret the things you've left undone. Mobility isn't productive, but sometimes we should remember that nothing lasts forever. Michiru's words might be significant in their way.
Come on! Get a move on!
Michiru calls me from some distance away. Carefree girl. I'll catch up to her in seconds if that's the extent of her head start. I begin to walk slowly, trying to decide what sort of drink I'll have her buy me. And that's where we'll end this episode. So we definitely gotten closer with Michiru and found that there might be more to her than just the idiot with the blonde pigtails. But that's all for next episode, so until then, take